Good morning, YouTube. Let's talk. Dieting while in recovery. Is it wise? Usually not. If you are in recovery, you're in recovery for a reason. And dieting, dieting usually refers to a diet, not a lifestyle. If you do get to a place in your recovery where you have truly been freed of your problem, and that can take a long, long time, you can consider modifying your lifestyle. Don't pick up anything that is a prescription. No keto, no vegan, nothing that, no slim fast, none of those diet products, none of those diet programs, nothing that has regime rules, foods that are off limits, low carb, no carb, Atkins, you know them all, the list goes on. Even though you think that it's just a diet and it should be fine because you're eating fine and there shouldn't be anything wrong with going on a diet, living back in a box where you're strictly observing your food, you're controlling what you are eating and paying very much attention to what you're eating, you're excluding yourself from various activities that are social because you can't eat what they have. It starts to familiar playgrounds, familiar playmates. It starts to put you back in that mindset and can very easily trigger you into a new form of an eating disorder, something like orthorexia, where you're obsessively clean, or just a new variation of your old disorder. And so, should you diet? No. You should never diet. Counting calories, again, a big no-no. If you've got a significant amount of weight and you're not sure why you keep gaining weight, you're beginning to feel uncomfortable, well, first you need to reality check. Check with your friends, family, loved ones, doctors, and find out how they see you. And realize that your portion distortion, your vision distortion, your distortions are distortions. So first get a reality check and find out if you're still well within the norm. And if you even need to be considering dieting. If people tell you that you're still thin, then you're not at a place where you need to be thinking about dieting, and it's just a sign that your eating disorder is not at a place of recovery. If you're coming down from a larger weight and you've stopped binge eating and you want to continue to lose weight and you've sort of plateaued, number one, binge eating disorder is an eating disorder. You didn't stop the binge eating specifically so you could get thin, because believe it or not, people who start out big can develop anorexia and other eating disorders like bulimia. If they begin to get slim and get excited about getting slim and then they reach a plateau, they may divert their energies to extremes or binging and purging, and then you just have a brand new you've just switched from one eating disorder to another. So should you diet? Should you count your calories even if you're coming down from a larger size and going from binge eating disorder downward toward a healthy weight? No. Again, nothing restrictive, nothing. If you've had a legitimate eating disorder, don't do anything that places you in boxes with rules and restrictions, and don't reach for calorie counting, because that will leave you with a sense of guilt, and it will give you numbers to track and follow, and these are things we don't need to be doing. What you can do, if you have been freely eating just about anything, preferably anything, preferably anytime, and allowing your body to do with it what it will, you can attempt to eat slightly healthier. It's never a bad idea to make a healthy choice, unless you're orthorexic and all you do is make healthy choices and you're obsessively healthy. If you find in trying to switch to healthier choices, I'm not talking about excluding every sweet treat or bad food, no food is bad, off of your menu and going completely obsessively on the other side. I'm talking about fruits and vegetables. I'm talking about considering chicken instead of a burger. I'm talking about small changes. Small, simple, healthier changes. Drinking more water. Getting an idea of the overall types of food that you eat and try to overall eat a little bit healthier. That would be your best bet. The old adage that, make healthier choices, move more. Get a little bit of exercise each day. If exercise was a problem for you, I suggest it simply be walking, and walking within limits. If you had an exercise problem, you shouldn't dive into exercise for some time, because you need to prove to yourself that your body can survive without exploding without exercise. But exercise is also good for our health, so at some point you need to re-include exercise, but you need to do it within a healthy limit. And walking is a simple one. Light yoga is a simple one. Take days off. If exercise was a problem for you, take days off. If you can't take days off, you still have a problem and you shouldn't be trying to re-include exercise. But so dieting in recovery, preferably not till after recovery. Preferably not after recovery. Preferably you reach a natural equilibrium where you can learn to accept your body as it is, where it should be. Eating healthy, healthful body movement, healthy food, healthy self-care, healthy acceptance, everything in moderation, even moderation. Living a good, clean lifestyle after recovery, well, that's wise advice for anyone. So as you're in recovery, I would just chase recovery, whatever it takes. Chase recovery. And don't consider any alterations or modifications or inclusions or anything like that until you're pretty darn secure in your capacity to live freely and to love yourself as you are, and you're stable. At that point, you can take a general look and make some general changes toward a healthy lifestyle that any average normal person would make. But be very, very careful. You can't let your guard down with this thing. It sits in your brainstem and just waits for the opportunity to crawl its way back into your life. So you have to be very mindful of yourself, very mindful of the level of activity you are doing, very mindful of if you feel compelled or you want to. What are your motivations? Why do you want to? How are you talking to yourself? How much of your time is spent focused on food, diet, body, exercise? Can you still do the freedom things that you were doing before you started to try to go and change your diet to lose a little bit more weight or to add muscle or, to try and attempt to do what normal people do after having an eating disorder? Baby steps. Nothing extreme, no subscription diets of any kind. Just eat a little healthier, move a little bit more, and be ever vigilant of yourself. Because that little devil sitting on your shoulder can creep right in at any moment and take you back over. And you work too long and too hard to get where you're at, to go back there. But maybe you don't need a diet at all. Maybe you don't need to lose any more weight. Maybe you don't need to gain any more weight. Maybe you're fine right where you are, and you just can't see it still because it's a mental health disorder. The behaviors and the physicality are the symptoms. So maybe you just need to accept yourself. And so before delving into anything like dieting or exercising after recovery, I would, again, get a reality check from doctors, family, and friends, and I would sit with yourself for a good month or two, maintaining right where you are, and see if you can't learn a new vision if you don't realize that you're fine just as you are. Give yourself time, because if a lifestyle modification would work now, it will work in a month. If you can't wait a month, then maybe you just can't live with yourself and you're having trouble accepting yourself. And that's a different problem. Because any changes you make from here on are about health, and health solely. Totality of health, mind, body, and spirit. Not about body modification or your looks, or satisfying your emotional whims or guilt, or food is just food, and you love yourself. So if you can't wait to diet, maybe you don't love yourself enough yet, and you need to wait. Love you guys. Bye, you too. Those are my thoughts on trying to start dieting or exercise or calorie counting or any of that, or switching to keto or vegan or any of the million options out there when you're in recovery, or even relatively shortly after. You don't like what you see yet, probably because you need to work on how you see yourself. Then become healthy. But not too healthy, because then you have orthorexia. Love you guys. Bye, you too.